Hello, everyone. Hi, Dorothy. Welcome. Hi, Katie. We're just going to give it a minute and we'll start on time. Hi, Cecilia. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming back for the Accessible and Inclusive Design
Oh,
Conference. I am not Lewis, as you can see and hear the voice. So if you think that doesn't sound like Lewis's voice, it's not, or I don't look like Lewis, I'm not. I'm Nicole Latoile. I'm guest hosting today. So I'm excited to be here supporting this conference and supporting Jacob's presentation and all of you. So welcome. Welcome. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Katie. Yeah, so saying hello in the chat. Fantastic. We will get started here shortly. We've had a great conference. I was able to attend some sessions on Monday. So if you've been able to in the past, that's great. Let us know what you've liked so far. We're so excited for this one. Um, and I know Lewis is sending his best wishes to everyone. Hello, welcome. All right, so let's get started. Today's presenter is Jacob Wood, owner of Accessible Games. Jacob is a learning designer with more than 20 years of experience working with assistive technology for blind and low vision users. As an MVDA certified expert and a screen reader user himself, he brings firsthand knowledge to accessibility and learning design. His background in digital content creation, paired with years of work in learning and development, gives him practical, real-world perspective on building truly accessible learning experiences. Jacob focuses on making accessibility straightforward and useful for designers. He draws on personal experience to show what actually works, not just what meets guidelines. And his approach helps teams make meaningful improvements that truly enhance the learning experiences for all users. So, welcome, Jacob. And I will put my mute and video and turn off and turn it over to you.
thank you, Nicole, and thank you everybody for being here today. I'm excited to get to talk more about accessibility with all of you. Um, just to kind of briefly give an overview of what we'll be talking about today, I'm going to go into a screen reader demonstration using NVDA, and after that, we'll talk a little bit more about heading structure, use of alt text, and a couple of other things that can make your jobs as learning designers a lot easier in terms of making courses more accessible and inclusive for everybody. Um, let's go ahead and start by, let's see, I'm already sharing my screen, I believe. So I am going to,
Accessibility.
let's see if I can
Accessibility
find
demonstration window. Topic colon. Clarifying and probing question.
the course that I was looking at. So um, this isn't intended to be a full screen reader demonstration. If you'd like that, we do have a recorded video on Nicole's channel actually on YouTube that we can point you to later. Today, I'll give you a brief overview of how I use NVDA specifically to access learning content, and then we'll go over kind of a mock page that I created, and we'll give you all a chance to practice with it as well. To get started, just a really brief background about using screen readers. Um, Typically speaking, when somebody is using a screen reader as their primary assistive technology, so that means without use of a magnifier to go with it, and we're, say, a keyboard-only user such as myself. Um, when you're thinking about what's on the screen, all that I can perceive at a given time is exactly what's in focus by the screen reader, nothing more and nothing less. So if you are looking at the screen that I'm sharing right now, um, there is an entire course with an LMS and everything laid out with menus and navigation buttons and headings and all sorts of things. I can see none of that other than the last thing that I had read. Uh, to me, when I'm looking at a course, I kind of just imagine it like a big long list of content, as opposed to things that are, say, to the left of you or to the right of you. So it's orienting myself to the course requires a little bit of work, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to start by pressing the control key and the home key on my keyboard, and this is going to jump me to the very top left corner of the website.
Out of frame, out of region, global header banner landmark, same page, link, skip to content.
And as you heard there, there was a lot of information that it gave me all at once, including the link that says skip to content. So that skip link is important. It means that I am at the top left corner of the page, but it also is something that I can use to quickly get back to the course content and not have to go through all of these navigation menus that I'm going to show you here in just a second. I'm going to explore the page using my arrow keys within VDA. That's up, down, left, and right specifically. And we'll just kind of give a brief demonstration of what this sounds like.
Global navigation region visited link dashboard.
So you heard that it said it's a global navigation region. A region is an area of a website that allows a screen reader user to kind of orient themselves. There's usually a navigation region, a content region, possibly a footer region, and
Deborah Harris has
some
joined the meeting alert.
websites we'll give you a few more, but those are the three primary regions that you'll find on most pages.
List with 8 items button account.
I just heard that I'm entering a list with 8 items, and there was an account link. So this is obviously a navigation menu. We'll just kind of explore these for a moment here.
Visited link dashboard. Current page button courses. Link calendar. Link inbox. Button history. Link commons. Button clickable 10 unread release notes.
You'll hear that some of these things have additional context, like it will tell me that it's a link or it's a button. It's a visited link or not a visited link. All of these things are important pieces of information when you're looking at a website. Oftentimes a visited link will have a different color than an unvisited link. And that kind of context is important so that you know where you've been before. It helps you quickly get back to places you've been. And I can use the same kind of verbal cues to do that myself.
Button help. Out of list, out of region, list with 1 item button, expand global navigation.
Now you've heard that we just exited a region and then there was a button to expand the menu.
Out of list button, hide courses navigation menu.
And I can use this button to hide the course navigation menu, but I'm not going to do that at the moment.
Breadcrumbs navigation landmark list with 3 items visited link course.
Now this LMS, which is a Canvas LMS, it has a breadcrumbs region. Breadcrumbs allow a user to orient themselves to the course and where they're at in the overall navigation structure. And that's really helpful for getting back to maybe a previous level of the course.
Link discussions. Visited link clarifying and probing questions. Out of list link view as student. Courses navigation menu navigation landmark list with 17 items visited link home.
And here's another navigation menu with 17 items. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can hear that it's giving me a lot of context that helps me orient myself to the web page. The other thing that I can do is use my D key within VDA or the R key with JAWS. There are different keys that you can use to jump between regions specifically. So I mentioned there was that navigation region. I'm going to press this again to go to the content region.
Main landmark clickable.
That would be the main landmark.
Clickable split screen view content region clarifying and probing questions heading level 1.
Here's another content region.
Module navigation landmark clickable previous module item visited link module 5 : outcomes and essential questions.
Now this LMS also has a region for navigating back and forth within the module, so it jumped me to the previous and next buttons.
No next landmark.
And that's the last landmark on this page. So with landmarks, it helps me orient myself to the page, but also helps me get around very quickly. You can tell that I was able to skip a lot of those links, a lot of the different user interface options, all of those elements that might be in the way of me getting to where I want to go quickly. Having a proper landmark structure is very helpful in overcoming some of those different barriers. Not every LMS or every authoring tool that you work with is going to give you the option to create your own landmarks. So we'll talk a little bit in a minute about how you can use headings or other types of navigation elements to help a screen reader orient themselves and navigate as well. I'm going to go back up to the very top of the course so I can demonstrate that. I'm going to, again, press Control and Home.
Global header banner landmark same page link skip to content.
Now I have a couple of different options. I can use some number keys like 1, 2, and 3 to navigate by heading level. I can press my H key to navigate just to the next heading of any level. or I can press my NVDA key plus the F7 key to bring up an elements list and navigate by heading that way. And I can kind of explore what this page might look like. And I'm actually going to demonstrate that here. NVDA plus F7.
Elements list dialog. Tree view. Level 0 skip to content semi. Same page 1 of 38.
I think I'm on the links.
Type
so
colon.
I'm
Grouping.
going to
Headings radio button checked Alt plus H.
look at the headings, and I can filter this screen by headings, links, regions, a few different options.
Tree view. Clarifying and probing questions expanded 1 of 1 level 0. Level 1 discussion topic colon. Clarifying and probing questions 1 of 3. Let's start with questioning expanded 2 of 3 level 1. Level 2 what are clarifying questions? 1 of 2. What are probing questions? 2 of 2 level 2. Level 1 question continuum sorting activity 3 of 3.
And as you can hear, there are different headings on this page. If I were to press the Enter key on any one of these, it's going to jump my focus to that spot.
Main landmark clickable split screen view content region question continuum sorting activity heading level 2.
And that jumped me to the continuum sorting activity. Let's say I didn't do this activity before and I wanted to just jump straight back there. That navigation list was helpful in getting me exactly where I wanted to go. Now, normally, when I use my screen reader to access a page for the first time, I'm actually going to go back up to the top of the page again.
Out of region global header banner.
I'm not going to use the skip to content link.
Same page link skip to content.
I am typically going to use my 1 key on my keyboard to jump to the first level heading on the page, the heading 1. And I do that because that typically means that I'm jumping past all of the navigation menu options and getting to what the developer has decided is the most important content, and that's why they gave it the level 1 heading.
Main landmark clickable split screen view content region clarifying and probing questions heading level 1.
And in this case, that's the title of the module. For most learning content, having your module title as an H1 is really good practice, because that means that I can skip all of those navigation options if I'm just trying to learn or just trying to access the course content itself. Some LMSs will use H1 or the heading level 1 for a user interface element. So using a heading level 2 would also be appropriate. So whatever the highest heading level is would be a really good choice for your course or for the module title. Without getting too far into the weeds on exactly these different navigation nuances, I'm going to go and show you a couple of other things that we can do with a screen reader, and I'm just going to navigate from here through the course content.
Button view split screen. Button collapse threads. Button assigned to. Filter by. Combo box collapsed editable opens list all.
This told me that there's a combo box, and I know that to be a drop-down menu. Now, I can't interact with this combo box while I'm in the mode with NVDA that I'm currently in. It's called browse mode. This lets me move through the website without really interacting with it. If I want to actually access the content within this drop-down box, I can press the caps lock or the NVDA key and the spacebar to switch to focus mode. And when I do that, you'll hear a sound.
Main landmark, split screen view content region, filter by combo box all collapsed opens list.
And now I can actually press the spacebar to open this combo box, or I can use the Alt plus down arrow key.
List, view grouping, all 1 of 2. Unread not selected 2 of 2.
And if I wanted to filter my messages here, that's what I could do.
All 1 of 2.
Or I can press the
Main
escape
landmark,
key to
split screen
close
view
that
content region,
box.
filter by combo box all collapsed opens list.
And now that beeping sound was me going back into browse mode, so I can continue using the other tools in the menu here.
Search entries or author. Edit search entries or author.
And where it says edit, that's kind of the same thing. I could switch to focus mode to type into that search box if I wanted to.
Sort by. Combo box collapsed editable opens list newest first. Toggle button pressed published.
And let's say I don't really need to get through any of this information here. All of these buttons are related to the forum content. So I'm just going to press my H key again to jump past these and hope to land on a header that helps get me to the top of the actual content that I'm looking for.
Discussion topic colon, clarifying and probing questions heading level 2.
And here you heard that it said it's a heading level 2. The level of the heading is really important. We'll use headings, subheadings, and sub-subheadings to really create a structure for the page that is logical. You want to never skip a heading, so you don't want to go from H1 to H3, for example. There's always would need to be an H2 before hitting an H3. Similarly, you wouldn't go from H2 to H4. Headings are not designed only for visual purposes. They're also designed for structural purposes.
Heading level 2. Let's start with questioning. In this section, you will engage with the question continuum sorting activity, view the video, and respond to the prompts below. Disc heading level 3. What are clarifying questions?
And here you heard that this was a heading level 3, so it's below the H2 that we heard earlier.
Link clarifying questions. Links to an external site are used to gather base. Heading level 3. What are probing questions?
And I'm not going to read through all of this. I'll just kind of skim it.
Link probing questions. Links to an external site, on the other hand, are more complex and designed to heading level 2 question continuum sorting activity.
Okay, this tells me that I'm about to do an activity.
Practice by sorting various question types, such as clarifying, probing, and suggestive blank. Question continuum sorting activity frame clickable button.
This tells me that I just entered the frame where the sorting activity is located.
Application. Button. Check the answers. The responses will be marked as correct, incorrect, or unanswered. List with 4 items. Link visit h5p.org to check out more cool content. Button. Reuse this content. Button. View the embed code for this content. Button. Send a question to the author. Out of list, out of frame, post response in the forum.
And if you'll notice, as I was navigating through there, I know that there was supposed to be a sorting activity, but my screen reader skipped right over it. And that's because this activity was embedded in a frame within the LMS. And things that are embedded within frames are not always keyboard accessible. There are a few tricks that we can use to try to access that, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to use the Shift key and the H key to jump to the previous heading, which I know was just above the sorting activity.
Question continuum sorting activity heading level 2.
And we'll go back down through this and show you what this looks like.
Practice by sorting various question types, such as clear blank. Question continuum sorting activity frame clickable button. Application.
Now, where this says application, this is the only cue to me as a screen reader user that I need to click here to open this sorting activity. And this is a common issue that we see, especially with this like h5p.org content. It's not just them that has this sort of screen reader issues when you're embedding with an iframe, but this particular course is what was being used here. I happen to know that if I activate this application box, it's going to take me into that frame. Not all screen reader users will know this, and so if they were using this course, they would completely be unable to access this sorting activity at all.
Application. Application. Grabbable 1 of 9. Have you thought about trying 9 line in this situation? Button.
But I'll show you here in a second why, even though I can access it, it may not always be a great experience for a screen reader to have these sort of drag and drop sorting activities.
Grabbable 2 of 9. What is the best / worst thing that could happen? Button. Grabbable 3 of 9. How much time did 6 line take? Button.
So you may have heard there that it said grabbable. That is a cue to me that I can use my spacebar to lift one of these items and move it around with my arrow keys, and that simulates being able to click and drag it with a mouse. But there were no instructions to me to do that. So if I didn't just happen to know that that's something that I could do, I would be lost on this activity. I may have gotten to it, but I wouldn't know how to interact with it.
Grabbable 4 of 9. Have you explored 4 line as a potential? Grabbable 5 of 9. What specifically do you mean by 7 line? Button.
And I'm going to skip through these real quick here to the end just to kind of get a feel for them.
Grabbable 6 of 9. Grabbable 7 of 9. Grabbable 8 of 9. Grabbable 9 of 9. Grabbable 1 of 9. Have you thought of grabbable 2 of 9? What is grabbable 1 of 9?
And when I hit number 9 and press the down arrow key, it cycled me back around to the top. So
space. Drop zone 3 of 3. Suggestive button.
I pressed the space bar.
No drop zone. Button.
And it's telling me things like drop zone. So I'm guessing that means that I can press the space bar again to drop the item.
Drop zone 3 of 3. Suggestive button. No drop zone. Button. Drop zone 3 of 3. Suggestive button. No drop zone. Button.
But if you hear this,
drop zone 3 of 3. Suggestive button.
I'm pressing my up and down arrow and my left and right arrow keys.
No drop zone. Button.
And I can only
drop
access
zone 3 of 3. Suggestive button.
This 3 of 3. I know that there must be 2 other drop zones, but I can't seem to access it. I'm going to switch into focus mode and see if that changes anything for me.
Drop zone 3 of 3. Suggest. No drop zone. Button. Drop zone 3 of 3. Suggest. No drop zone. Button. Drop zone 3 of 3. No drop zone. But drop zone 3 of. No drop zone. Button.
In
Drop
fact,
zone 3 of 3.
I
Suggested button.
cannot. I'm not sure where I can drop this other than in this 3 of 3. So I'm just going to press the space bar to get rid of this item that I picked up.
Space. Grabbable 1 of 9. Have you thought about trying 9 line in this situation?
Now, I'll be honest, I've spent some time with this before, and I still don't know exactly how, with a keyboard, I am to um, complete this activity. So I'm going to give up and just take this one as a loss personally. This is not the first time I've encountered a drag and drop activity that I've had to just kind of ignore. It's not so bad, I guess, when it's an optional activity. But sometimes these things are mandatory and there's no way past it. But you might have also remembered that when I reached the bottom of this list of 9 items and I pressed the down arrow key, it cycled me back to the top.
Button grabbable 1 of 9. Button grabbable 1 of 9. Button grabbable 1 of 9.
And I don't have any way to get out of this frame that I'm stuck in. This is called a keyboard trap. When I press my arrow keys,
Button grabbable 1 of 9.
it should be moving me to the previous object, but it's stuck here. And I'm going to jump to the bottom of this list with Control and End.
Button unavailable suggestive. Button unavailable suggestive. Button unavailable suggestive.
And I'm pressing the down arrow key and nothing is happening. So I'm stuck here. This is called, again, a keyboard trap.
Button grabbable 1 of.
There are some ways that even a keyboard trap can be exited with a keyboard, but most screen reader users don't really know what those are. We'll be looking for a button to close this, but because it's not an modal or a pop-up, it's not really something that you can close. We might try the escape key, which I'm pressing right now, but that does nothing. So I'm completely stuck here if I don't do this one thing, which is to hold the shift key and press tab, and that's going to change my focus back to the website.
Blank. Button full screen. Application. Button check the answers. The response list with 4 items. Link visit h5p.org to check out more cool content.
And when I was at the top of that box and I pressed shift plus tab, it did let me escape the box, the frame. But that's the only thing that I was able to do to get out, short of refreshing the page. So there are a few different reasons why these embedded pieces of content can be a challenge for screen reader users. Do we have any questions so far?
Mostly comments. There was a question. This is a Canvas course that is an H5P embedded drag and drop. And I've been responding around letting, this, what you're saying, keyboard trap doesn't fail. Even though you could technically drop it in the drop zone, it wasn't quite accessible. We have a question. Let's see. Charlene, when creating a multiple choice question, do you need to add letters or numbers next to answers, or can you just have the answers? What is the best practice for someone who's visually impaired?
Mm. I'd say it's helpful, but it kind of depends on the context. If the answers are yes, no, I don't know, probably not as big of a deal as if it's like a multiple choice with like a sentence or something. I think generally it's helpful to have A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, just because it helps me orient to what I'm going to click on later. So I'm going to read back through. I'm going to read all of the potential responses before I choose one, right? And if I am reading through the list and I think, oh, B sounds like it's probably the right one, but I'll come back to it. Remembering B is a lot easier than remembering the whole sentence that I'm looking for. So I can easily go back to B and select that as my option after I've read, C and D as well. So yeah, it's very helpful to have some sort of lettering or numbering scheme.
We just have a comment from Dorothy. Oh goodness, this is frustrating to watch the struggle that our screen readers might encounter. Thank you for showcasing this. We do have a question around what would be a better way to create the sorting activity, and I'll let you respond. I was starting to type an answer, but I think it's best that you give your perspective.
Sure.
And then we have a follow-up
So,
question. Sorry.
Sure. There are ways to make sorting activities keyboard accessible, but they're probably more effort than they're worth. If a sorting activity is really important to the way that you create content, one way that I've seen it done is to have a list of the uh, like options on one side and then a combo box or like a drop-down list of options next to each of those. And then you select the option that you would typically sort it into, like the bucket you would sort it into in that drop-down list. So you get the same effect where you're choosing like which category something goes into, but in a much more accessible way.
There's a follow-up question from Dorothy. Question on that labeling for academic integrity help. Canvas allows you to shuffle answers. Do you have a
Mm.
suggestion as how to do something like this as the shuffle option would put them out of order?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I honestly, I don't have a good answer for that off the top of my head, but keeping the responses or the possible options concise is helpful. That way, there's less cognitive load when you're trying to remember which one you want to go back to. Um, and then I don't know, maybe we can kind of come back to that and explore that a little bit more. I think it's a great question, though.
Okay, that's all for now.
So I'd like to have everybody kind of participate now if we'd like. We have a kind of a dummy website that I set up to show both a website that's built with poor accessibility and one that has proper accessibility implemented. And let me see if I can get back, Nicole, I forgot to give you this link earlier, so I can't just have you paste it. Um,
Screen sharing meeting accessibility demo dash inaccessible accessibility
can I
demonstration screen sharing
get,
meeting controls call accessibility demo dash inaccessible page column 3 accessibility demonstration column 1 screen sharing meeting controls call more
is
chat left
this?
paren webinar chat window chat text list
Okay, I'm going to drop this link into the chat.
https:// www.bit.ly/aitcjacop.
And everybody should be able to access this link. It's going to ask you to um, enter your name and email address, but you can choose to. Um,
Sorry, I posted the wrong
oh,
one. Wait, no. So yours came direct to me,
oh,
and now it's there. Here you go. Sorry about that.
okay. Oh, great. Um, you'll have the option to just click the continue button and join anonymously if you decide to do that.
Chat left
And
accessibility demonstration
let's see.
accessibility demo dash inaccessible page document visited link click here to go to the accessible version of the site.
So I've set up here a page that has a whole bunch of WCAG failures. That's the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Um, if you get a chance on your own, feel free to come back to this page later with a screen reader and just kind of try to navigate it. So NVDA, which is what I'm using today, is a free screen reader that you can download from nvaccess.org if you are a Windows user. Windows also has a built-in screen reader called Windows Narrator. And Macintosh has VoiceOver, which you can access. I don't remember the shortcuts for how to open it up, but you can access this with any number of free screen readers and kind of see what these different things look like. I'm just going to go through this and give you an idea of where these different types of things fail and what we can do uh, to remediate some of them. So again, starting at the top of the course or the web page using Control and Home,
Visited link click here to go to the accessible version of the site.
I have a link that says click here to go to the accessible version of the site. Now, uh, the way that you label a link is very important. We saw earlier the elements list where I showed you all of those headings at once. Links can be pulled up in that same way. And so if I have a web page full of links and all of them just say click here, I'm not going to know what any of those mean. So we'll get back to this in a moment, and I'll show you what a better way to describe a link like this might look like.
Welcome to our inaccessible website.
So here we have some large text that says, welcome to our inaccessible website. But if you have been following along, you'll notice that it did not say heading level 1. And I know that this is large text because I can actually highlight some of this
Welcome selected to selected.
and use a command in NVDA, NVDA plus F.
Arial pane formatting. Arial 24 PT black on white bold align center separator button copy control plus.
And it said that this is 24 points in bold. So it's big text, it's bold, it's at the top of the page, it's centered. I know that this is supposed to be, say, the page title, which ideally would be a level 1 heading.
Accessibility
But it wasn't styled as a heading. It was just styled as large text. This happens when you say highlight text in your WYSIWYG editor and you select the font size and the bold option as opposed to using the heading style.
This page is designed to demonstrate common web accessibility issues. Use a screen reader to welcome to unselected. Navigate this page and experience the challenges users with disabilities may face. Separator.
And separator here means I believe that it's using some kind of horizontal rule to break up the content on the page.
Heading level 2 images without alt text.
Now, you've heard there that this was a heading level 2, and this is a failure again because we didn't have a heading level 1, so we skipped a heading level. So even though we have an H2 here that I can use to get around, this would technically not be properly formed semantic structure of the page.
This is an image of our company logo, but it's missing alternative text. A screen reader will not be able to describe it. Here is another image, this time of a cute puppy. It also lacks a description. Unlabeled graphic to get missing image descriptions. Open the context menu. Check out this funny cartoon. Separator.
And if you'll notice, only one of those graphics even appeared to my screen reader. So I know that there's supposed to be a cute puppy on the page, and I know that there's supposed to be a funny cartoon on the page, but because there was no alternative text, I have no idea what those were. I'm just going to continue on and feel like I missed out on the cute puppy and the funny cartoon.
Heading level 2 unlabeled buttons.
We'll see here what some unlabeled buttons look like.
These buttons do not have any text or labels to indicate their function. A screen reader user will not know what they do. Button check.
So button check. That's all we
Not know
know.
what they do. Button. Check button.
This one says check button.
Button.
That one just says button.
Check button.
I would have no idea what any of these do. Now, if you are going to kind of test this page on your own, none of these buttons actually do anything. This is a dummy page. It's not connected to any website. But if they were to do something, I would have no idea.
Separator. Heading level 2 poorly formed form.
And here's a poorly formed form.
This form has several accessibility problems. The input fields are not properly labeled, and the tab order may be illogical.
So I'm going to press the tab key to enter the form.
Edit blank.
You heard that noise. That's my screen reader automatically entering focus mode when it entered an edit box.
Suggestion available. Edit blank. Has autocomplete. Your message here. Edit blank.
And I pressed a key to escape the edit box. Pardon me. And you heard the beep that says that it went into browse mode. Now you may have heard here that
Edit has autocomplete blank.
it said that there was an edit box.
Edit blank.
But it didn't tell me what those labels are. So if I'm just editing by from one tab to the next, I don't know what any of these things are.
Full name.
Now I can go back into browse mode and read that there was a text label that said full name,
Edit. Email address.
my email
Edit
address,
submenu has your message here. Edit.
and a message.
Please fill out all required fields. Button submit. Separator. Heading level 2 use of color alone for meaning.
We'll look at why it's important to use more than just color to indicate meaning on a page.
The following instructions rely on color to convey information. A user who is colorblind or has low vision may not be able to understand the instructions. Click the green button to proceed, or the red button to cancel.
The green button or the red button.
Button action, button action.
And they're both just labeled as button
Click the green
action.
button to action button. Action button.
So I have no idea which one of these is green and which one is red. This is why it's really important, again, to label your buttons, but also not to only use that color.
Please review the fields below. Red fields are required.
Red fields are required.
First name colon.
First name.
Edit. Last name colon. Edit. Email colon. Edit. Graphic clickable.
Well, I don't know which of those are red, so I don't know which of those are required.
Graphic clickable. Edit. Email colon. Edit. Last name colon.
So these are some of the things that can go wrong when using color alone to convey meaning, when not properly labeling your buttons, when not giving alt text to images, and when not using proper heading structure. I'm going to go back up to the top and we'll click over to the link to the accessible version of the site and see what it looks like instead.
Visited link. Click here to go to the accessible loading page. At loading complete. Link. Go to the inaccessible version of this site. Dot.
Now this one says
No next link. Heading level
let's
1. Go to the inaccessible version of this site. Link.
the whole website is called Go to the Inaccessible version of this site. So I know if I'm looking through just the link list, what exactly that link is going to do.
Heading level 1. Welcome to our accessible website.
I also know now that this is the page title because it's a heading level 1.
This page demonstrates how the previous accessibility issues have been resolved. Use a screen reader to navigate this page and experience the difference. Separator. Heading level 2. Images with alt text.
And you'll notice there that because the page has a heading level 1 or an H1, that this H2 is now in the proper semantic structure, the proper order.
This is an image of our company logo. It now has alternative text. Graphic Venn diagram featuring 3 overlapping circles labeled left quote leadership right quote left paren, with a flag icon right paren, left quote accessibility right quote left paren, with a person at a podium icon right paren, and left quote learning right quote left paren, with a graduation cap icon right paren. The intersection of all 3 circles is labeled left quote growth. Right quote below the diagram is the phrase left quote growth for all. Right quote.
So there is some very detailed alternative text that really describes what the logo looks like. Sometimes it's enough to just say, logo of a company. In this case, because the logo was sort of the purpose of the image and not just something in the corner of a page, it was helpful to provide a full description of what that looks like.
Here is another image of a cute puppy, also with a proper description. Graphic. A small beagle puppy with a white and brown coat stands on a tiled floor, holding a bright yellow tennis ball in its mouth with its head slightly lowered.
And now I know that it's a beagle with a tennis ball in its mouth. So that does to me say, oh, what a cute puppy. And um, my son insisted that I use this image because he made it. So I had to throw that in there.
Check out this funny cartoon. Graphic. A cartoon-style underwater scene featuring a large, expressive shark talking to a small, terrified sea cucumber. The shark has a friendly but mischievous grin and is facing the sea cucumber, which has wide eyes and a nervous expression. A speech bubble shaped like a water bubble is coming from the shark, containing the text: "Don't worry, I'm not a vegetarian." The background includes coral reefs, bubbles, and other sea creatures watching the interaction with curiosity.
So this is another very detailed alternative text description. It might not always be important to have that much detail, but because this is a cartoon that's meant to be funny and some of the nuance of the picture, like the terrified sea cucumber, is important to the context of the image, all of that was included here. Maybe it's not as important that there are layers of background with some other creatures, but overall, a lot of the details here can actually be really helpful in conveying the humor of the image.
Separator. Heading level 2. Clearly labeled buttons. These buttons now have clear, descriptive labels that indicate their function.
So now we have the clearly labeled buttons.
Submit data button.
This one is to submit data.
Confirm action button.
And this one is to confirm an action. So I know what these 2 buttons do now.
Separator. Heading level 2. Well-formed form. This form is now accessible. Each input field has a properly associated label. Full name edit blank.
So that told me that this field is for my full name.
Suggestion available. Email address edit blank. Has autocomplete.
This field is for my email address.
Your message edit multi-line blank.
And this field is for my message. So now I know just by tabbing through what these edit boxes are actually for. I don't have to switch back into browse mode and back into edit mode and go back and forth to try to enter data into this form.
Out of edit blank. Button submit.
And this is a submit button.
Separator. Heading level 2. Clear instructions left paren, not reliant on color right paren. The following instructions are clear without relying on color. We've also added text to the buttons to make their purpose obvious. Click the quote proceed quote button to continue, or the quote cancel quote button to stop. Proceed button. Cancel button.
So now we know what these 2 buttons do. Instead of being green and red, they say proceed.
Button proceed. Button cancel.
And cancel.
Please review the fields below. Required fields are marked with a left paren, required right paren.
So now we know that there is a label instead of just the red color to convey which fields are required here.
First name required.
This one says required.
Edit required. Last name required. Edit required. Email.
Oh, but the email is not required.
Edit. Graphic clickable. Graphic clickable.
And that's the bottom of the page.
Link go to the inaccessible version of this site. Dot.
So that's an example of what a remediated page might look like with alt text, properly labeled buttons, not using color only to convey meaning. It's okay if you use color and accessible labels, but not color alone. I'd like to go ahead and open it up to more questions now. If anybody has anything else that they'd like to ask.
We had a question that was from Taylor, and it goes back to the embedded frames from the Canvas course.
Mhm.
He said, you said you
Yeah.
knew some tricks to make embedded frames more accessible. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Um, so making embedded frames more accessible, it sort of depends on how much control you have over the content of it. If you have like developer control, like where you can create your own buttons to help somebody escape the frame, that's something that you can do. When you are using something like H5P and you're just using that copy and paste embed code, you might not have access to that. So it's a bit of a juggling act, but that is one way that you can do that. Or you can give people instructions on how to escape the frame by using Shift and Tab. That's not necessarily the most elegant way to do it. But if you have to use that H5P or some similar type of content, um, giving that extra context to somebody about how to escape it, or ideally giving them a button or a link that connects them back into the rest of the page would be really helpful.
Other questions? I don't see anything in the Q&A or the chat at this moment. I think most of us are just watching so closely and diligently learning as you're navigating and sharing. Um, so if there are more questions, we can answer those. And if there was anything else you wanted to share, the floor
Sure.
is still yours.
So one of the questions that I get a lot is about alt text specifically and what makes good alt text and what doesn't. And I talked a little bit before about why some of these are really detailed,
Venn diagram featuring 3 overlapping circles labeled left quote leadership right quote left
like
paren
this
with a
logo one. So it goes into detail about all of the different icons and the diagram itself, because all of that conveys some kind of meaning to this image. Now, some things are more decorative. In fact, some content should be marked solely as decorative. I don't have anything on this page here, but let's say you are using Articulate Storyline and you want to put an oval behind a button to give it just a little bit of visual flair. That oval is going to show up to a screen reader and just say something like oval 1 or oval 2. It doesn't mean anything to me. So marking that as decorative hides it from the screen reader. It tells the screen reader to just completely ignore it. Kind of like how when we were on
link
this
go to the inaccessible version of
inaccessible page, I'll go back
loading
here
page
real
loading
quick
complete.
here.
Images without alt text heading level 2. This is an image of our company logo, but it's missing. Here is another image, this time of a cute puppy. It also lacks a description.
If you notice, there was something here that said, here's an image.
This is an image of our company logo. Here is another unlabeled graphic to get. Check out this funny cart separator.
But
Check out this
only
funny
one
cartoon.
of these actually appeared to my screen reader.
Unlabeled graphic to get missing image descriptions. Open the. Here is another image, this time.
So 2 of these 3 images don't even appear. And you can hide anything that isn't ideally anything that you wouldn't want to appear to a screen reader, because it just adds some kind of visual flair. That just becomes verbal clutter to me. And so you want to hide those additional pieces of content. The same can be for like borders that you might use that are graphical instead of using like a CSS border. It used to be that rounded corners were done using little icons or little like 1 pixel images. Those types of things you would want to have marked as decorative.
We do have a
But
follow-up question to that,
mhm,
Jacob. Is
yeah.
it let me just, sorry, just moved. Is it best practice to include instructions in alt text, for example, letting learners know what will happen if they select an option in a software simulation, such as filtering to a specific source type in a catalog? And that's from Claire.
Yeah, so again, this kind of goes back to the developer level controls. There are ways to give instructions that only appear to screen readers, um, using like ARIA, which is sort of a goes along with HTML to add context to screen readers. And giving them those types of instructions is really helpful. So if I was to, I don't have it open right now, but if I was to use, say, a flip card activity, um, just having a line that says, click the flip button to flip the card to the other side. Um, Something like that gives somebody more context about what they're supposed to do. In some cases, you want to give that information to sighted users as well, because not everybody is going to intuitively know how to flip over your cart. Um, and in other cases, if the functionality is just for screen reader, such as where I showed that activity, the drag and drop one with the grabbable elements, having some content that's only exposed to a screen reader that says press the space bar to lift, the arrow keys to move around, and the space bar again to drop the item. That's really helpful.
That's it at the moment. We have a thanks, Jacob, from Claire. And we did have a question around from Marty around the how long the character limit, and I did answer that around 125 or fewer. However, the
Yeah,
intent of the alt text is more important, although many tools will only allow us the 125.
right. Yeah, in fact, the place I worked previously, we had a 125 character hard limit on our alt text, and sometimes it didn't feel like enough. So having a nice succinct alt text, um, say, a logo for XYZ company, um, that gives somebody an idea of what is on the page, or um, a dog bouncing a ball. That gives them the idea of what's there. If it's important to the page, then giving a long description in the text next to the image, or as a downloadable transcript in some cases, if it's, say, a video, or like an infographic where you have a lot of information that's being conveyed by one simple image. Um, that's where you might need more than 125 characters. And so having some sort of alternative, whether that's on the page alongside all of the other text or as a downloadable transcript or an alternative, it's really important to have that information.
All right,
Um,
we have a question from Allison. I missed the first few minutes, so this may have already been answered. Any recommendations on how to use NVDA as a sighted user? Are there any NVDA user courses on YouTube you recommend? I've played with NVDA to test my courses, but I sometimes don't know the keyboard strokes to use or if the information is NVDA is reading it to me is useful to a non-sighted user or not. So it's that age-old
mhm,
question, is it me or the screen reader or the course?
right. There are a lot of NVDA tutorials on YouTube. Several of them are by NVDA certified experts. I don't know the names of the channels offhand, um, but a lot of them are really good. So I would just search for NVDA tutorial and find one that uh, is clear and kind of gives you the information that you're looking for. I'm sorry, I wish I had a better one to suggest.
I can drop that DQ shortcut key one in the
Yeah, for
chat. I'll have to
sure.
go ahead and do that. And we have a comment from Kevin. In Storyline, I sometimes create longer alt text by using an off-slide text box that a screen reader
Hmm.
user could access, but sighted users wouldn't see.
That's yeah, that's certainly one way to add that additional context without it kind of being revealed to the rest of the audience. One of the other things about Storyline, especially in what is it, version build 100 or something, they now have that accessibility checker, and PowerPoint and Excel and Microsoft Word, they all have these tools built in now that you can use to check the accessibility of your documents before you deploy them. And they're a great first step um, to making sure your documents are accessible. I was just remediating or doing an audit rather for a PowerPoint presentation the other day, and it did not flag some contrast issues that somebody else did catch. So it's not perfect, but it's a great way to um, really get a start on your accessibility journey.
Any other questions or comments for Jacob? We're at 1:49, so do you want to keep going or are we
Yeah,
have more?
there's
Okay.
one other thing that I can talk about here is
Visited link. Click here to go to the accessible version of the site. Loading page. Loading complete.
we'll go back to actually, you know what, instead of this version, we will come back here.
Topic: clarifying and probing questions.
So headings. There's there are a couple of tricks that we've kind of uncovered recently. I was talking to Nicole about these a couple of weeks ago, where um, headings can be used along with other types of content to help a screen reader orient and anchor to a page. So one of the WCAG requirements is the ability to bypass blocks, and that's where the skip to content link comes
Out of
in.
list, out of frame, out of region, global header, banner, landmark, same page, link, skip to content.
The skip to content link allows me to jump past blocks and blocks and blocks of navigation menus.
Main landmark, clickable, split screen view, content region, clarifying and probing questions, heading level 1 view, split screen button, collapse, threads button, assigned to button, filter by combo box, collapsed, editable, opens list, all search entries.
Okay, I'm just going to stop that. So I clicked skip to content and it skipped me to the heading level 1 on the page and then just kept on reading. Now, what it didn't do was bypass this other block of,
no previous heading.
But
clickable, split out of region, clickable. No previous heading at level, clickable, split screen view, content region, clarifying and probing questions.
So what it didn't do is bypass
button view, split screen.
All of these controls.
Button collapse, threads, button assigned to. Filter by. Combo box collapsed, editable, opens list, all search entries or author.
Now, if I don't have other headings on the page, or if the heading structure isn't properly set up, I'm going to have to either click through every single one of these buttons, and there are lots of them, or resort to a couple of other tricks to skip past these. If I have a heading like this H2 here,
discussion topic, clarifying and probing questions, heading level 2.
I can press one key to jump past all of that.
Clickable button, manage discussion.
But let's say somebody just started with text after this block
toggle
of
button
buttons.
not pressed and subscribed.
Sorry, after this block of buttons. I wouldn't have that H key to jump past all of it. So there are a couple of other tricks that some screen reader users know how to use to kind of try to skip past all of those anyway. But they're a little less common. So having headings to break up these different chunks of controls, and you'll see this type of thing with like a video player as well. When you have video players, there's usually play, pause, mute, volume, fast, slow, settings, closed captions. There are a lot of buttons involved in that one little unit. And if all I want to do is play the video and then skip past all of those controls, or if I'm skimming back up and down through the page and I hit that video player every time, I don't want to go through 7 or 8 different buttons one at a time to get to the next bit of content that's after that video block. So a best practice would be to have a heading or a link or something that is consistently placed after your video players or after your blocks of content, after your activities, and then I can use my heading key or my button key or my link key to skip all of those interim buttons and get exactly where I want to go to get started. I don't think, let's see, I think this page has
heading level 2 discussion topic, clarifying and probing question. Let's start with questioning heading level. In this section, heading level 3, what are clarifying, link clarifying, heading level 3, what are link probing, heading left practice blank. Question continuum sorting activity application.
Yeah, so this continuum sorting activity is an example. Let's say I've already done this activity or decided that I wasn't able to do the activity,
Button. Out of frame blank. Reflection.
I can either scroll through this one button at a time.
Blank. Question applicant button. List with button. Read button. View button. Set out of list. Out of frame. Post response in the forum. List with 4 items. Out of quest button. Button. Link out of applet button. Out of practice heading. Link heading level 3. What are probing? Link probing questions. Links to an extra.
And that takes me a lot of time. Or if the page is just properly set up, I can use some of my other navigation tools.
Question continuum sorting activity heading level 2. No next heading. Module navigation landmark clickable previous module item visited link module 5
Like
colon
my
outcomes and essential
navigation.
clickable split screen view content region button reply. Visited link return to modules. Question continuum frame clickable list with 3 items button send a question to the author.
I can use some of these other tools to anchor myself on the page. This probably wasn't the best example, but it's helpful to not just have a block of like a paragraph block of text after anything with a lot of controls or buttons in it, because it's harder to navigate by paragraph. And a user who doesn't have any way, remember back to the beginning of the discussion when I said I can only really perceive what's immediately in focus. So I can't just skim or glance past those video controls to the next block of text. I need something that lets my screen reader jump past them. And that's where having things like headings or links or something that I can anchor myself to are really helpful. And that's something that you can do with just about any authoring tool using just a little bit of thoughtful preparation when you're designing your course and laying out your content.
All right, there was a comment just from Alex. Thank you so much. This was really great and seeing it in action of how someone uses a screen reader, how it's interpreted as a page and a slide. I shared a tutorial on how to use it for accessibility. I found it on YouTube. Allison, thanks. This has been so helpful. And Donna shared a storyline, has a webinar about MVDA, which is helpful. Yeah, I've
Oh,
seen that.
nice.
That's excellent too. So, so shared some resources there. If there's any other questions, let's get those in, and then we'll start to wrap up. It's 1:55.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. And if we don't have any other questions, then I just want to say thank you, everybody, for showing up. I know that accessibility can seem really daunting sometimes, but just the fact that you're here showing up and learning about accessibility and learning design shows that you are already ahead of the curve. And so I really appreciate everything that all of you do to make more inclusive learning experiences.
Jacob, we have a really good question, and I didn't want to prompt
Hmm.
too much around the storyline because you and I have worked on projects together, and you've done some testing,
Sure.
and we've worked together on storyline projects for auditing purposes. But there's a question from Kevin. In storyline, is it best to have a header on each slide, even if it is just content following previous slide header?
For me, yes. And the reason that I would say so, even if it's like you're saying slide 2 of 9, um, I've when I click the next link or the next button to flip to the next slide, um, Storyline doesn't always set my screen reader focus to the top of the page. And let me actually very
Module
quickly here,
navigation landmark. Clickable next module item visited link case study colon. What? So what?
I'm going to click this next link and we'll see if Canvas does or not. I honestly can't remember.
Loading page. Case study colon. What? Loading complete. Topic colon. Case study colon. What? So what? Now what? Clickable courses navigation menu navigation landmark list with 17 items visited link settings.
So this did not set me to the top of that content. And if I don't have a heading,
Main landmark clickable split screen view content region case study colon. What? So what?
like I do here, I don't have a simple way to bypass all of those links. I can come back up to that skip to the content link, but not every course consistently has that either. And I mentioned earlier how I don't always use the skip to content link. The first thing I go for is just the 1 key on my keyboard, which skips me to the first heading 1. So having that at the top of every single module, even if it's just a continuation, is very helpful.
I was just going to comment on that and just say we would actually consider a significant fail for logical focus order,
Mm,
considering that it did not take us to the next logical location in the
yeah.
course. Yeah. so you can test those on your own storyline courses.
Yeah.
All right. This was awesome. There's no other questions or comments, but follow Jacob. I posted your Slack post in there as well with the recording to the other videos that you've done and some of
Oh,
your
great.
Substack work. So follow Jacob if
Oh,
you're
thank you.
not on LinkedIn. Get subscription to his Substack. So much to learn. So appreciative of you sharing your experiences and knowledge as an instructional designer and just as a native screen reader user. And we just really, really appreciate that. So this was amazing.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Jacob. And thank you. You're welcome, Claire. Emily, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
I'm only an egg, but thank you so much for taking the time and providing the clues. Thank you. Thank you. This was so informative. Thank you so much. And I'll just thank Lewis because he'll watch this recording for having me host today. I really appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Oh, we have a hand raise. Rochelle, did you want to ask a question? Thank you. I don't know. Can you come off mute and ask a question? Hold on. I think I can do that. I have to find you in participants. Where are you? Where are you? Okay. Allow to talk. All right. I think you can go, Rochelle. Speak. Maybe that was a slip up. Maybe she didn't or didn't Rochelle, did you mean to raise your hand? I don't know.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, everyone have a wonderful day. It looks like
Thank
the
you again,
conference
everybody.
continues on Monday, August 4th. There is two sessions on that day, the 8 a.m. Pacific time and 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we look forward to seeing you there. Have a wonderful rest of your day.